Released in 1992, Sarafina remains a pivotal film that brought the stories of South Africa's 1976 Soweto uprising to global audiences. The film's cast, a blend of seasoned actors and emerging talents, delivered performances that resonated deeply with viewers. In this video, we'll be taking a look at the cast and where they are now over 3 decades later. At number 16, we have Mary Tlale. She didn't need a lot of screen time in Sarafina to make an impression. She had that kind of presence of a wise person. She played Sarafina's grandmother, a role that was more symbolic than loud. In a film filled with stomping feet, raised fists, and voices echoing for freedom, Tlale's character was calm, steady, and grounded. You probably remember her most in that family scene where Sarafina comes home and we get a glimpse of her world outside the school gates. The grandmother doesn't say much, but everything about her, the way she sits, the way she watches, tells you she's seen it all. And she's scared. Not in a hopeless way, but in the way only someone who's lived through generations of pain can be. After Sarafina, Mary Tlale didn't slow down, not even a little bit. She was already a seasoned actress when she took on that role. And after the film, she became a household name in South Africa. She could do it all. Soapies like Generations, gritty dramas like Yizo Yizo, and even light-hearted roles in comedies. Her face was one of the most recognizable on South African TV, and when she was in a scene, you paid attention because she never wasted a moment. In 2009, she wowed audiences in Hopeville with a deeply moving story about redemption and community that earned her an African Movie Award nomination. That same fierce dignity she brought to Sarafina's grandmother carried her into all her roles, whether she was playing a healer, a grieving mother, or a wisecracking old lady with stories to tell. Her personal life was just as full of color. Her son, Sizwe Mngomo, was also in Sarafina, and he went on to become one of South Africa's most famous entertainers. Mary passed away in July 2020, and South Africa mourned hard. It felt like the nation had lost its grandma. But even in her final years, she stayed relevant. She was part of Beyonce's Black is King visual album, proving that her magic transcended borders and generations. In every way, she left behind a blueprint for grace and endurance. Next up at number 15, we have Nikki Rebello. He didn't play the kind of character you rooted for in Sarafina. He was one of the soldiers, faceless, helmeted, swinging batons and loading rifles. But that's exactly what made his role important. He represented the state, the cold, the mechanical force that tried to crush a generation's spirit. You might not remember him by name, but you remember those scenes, the school raid, the tear gas, the chaos. Somewhere in the thick of that was Rebello, playing his part in a brutal system. There's one particular sequence that hits hard when the soldiers storm into the schoolyard and the students, instead of running, sing louder. Freedom is coming tomorrow, they cry, as the soldiers shove and beat them. And you see Rebello's character standing there unmoved, stone-faced. That's what made it chilling. That's what apathy did. It turned ordinary people into cogs in a violent machine. After Sarafina, Nikki was still involved in acting. He wasn't a leading man he didn't need to be. His career stayed mostly under the radar, but actors like him were the backbone of South Africa's entertainment industry. They popped up in everything: TV dramas, indie films, stage plays, even in Hollywood movies. He is known for his versatile roles and has appeared in several notable productions, including Gangsta's Paradise, Jerusalem in 2008, and the Banana Splits movies in 2019. As of 2025, he is still active as an actor. At number 14, we have Greg Latta. He played one of those stern-looking policemen in Sarafina, the kind who could break up a protest with a single bark. He had that cold, bureaucratic energy, like someone who believed rules were more important than people. His scenes weren't flashy, but they were haunting. He was in those violent sequences, interrogations, arrests, the backroom terror, the kind of scenes that made you hold your breath. But Greg Latta isn't just an actor. He's actually better known as a screenwriter. Yep, the same guy who played one of Apathy's enforcers in Sarafina went on to craft stories for television and film, often tackling suspense and human drama. It's almost poetic. He went from delivering someone else's lines to writing his own. After Sarafina, Greg dug deep into the world of storytelling. He worked on many projects. He also worked behind the scenes as a script editor and story consultant, helping shape the next wave of South African writers. In over a 35-year career, he spent 22 feature films, 11 TV series and 5 plays. His work has earned him big honors like the Thomas Pringle Award, the Sithengi and SAFTA Best Screenplay Awards, and an Alidi for Best Play. By 2025, Greg Latta is still very much in the game, but mostly as a writer for movies. Next up at number 13, we have James Weil. He was another soldier, another uniform, but don't let James Wile's role in Sarafina fool you. This guy is a full-blown artist. He played one of the enforcers during the school protests, part of that oppressive backdrop of boots, rifles and orders. But James Weil wasn't just playing a role. He has spent his life wrestling with South Africa's ghosts on stage, on screen and on the page. After Sarafina, Weil didn't just act, he wrote. He's a poet, a novelist, and a screenwriter. His novel, The Book of War, is a raw, immersive journey into the human cost of conflict, and it was met with critical acclaim. You can feel the echoes of his Sarafina days in his writing. He's drawn to the trauma and complexity of South African pasts. Acting-wise, he's had steady gigs over the years and has also done TV dramas, but theatre is probably where Weil really shines. He's a stage veteran known for roles that demand emotional precision and intellectual depth. As of 2025, James Weil is still out there, writing, acting, provoking thoughts. He's one of those artists who never stops asking hard questions. And his small role in Sarafina was just the beginning of a lifelong dialogue with his country's past and future. At number 12 is Wendy Leco. She played China and was one of those faces you just couldn't forget. She wasn't the main character, but her role as one of Sarafina's closest friends was crucial. China was part of that tight-knit group of students who carried the fire of youth, rebellion and hope. Her energy in the student solidarity scenes was infectious. When the group burst into "Freedom is coming tomorrow," you could feel China's determination and passion right alongside Sarafina's. Those protest scenes in the classroom and on the streets, where the kids refused to be silenced, China was right there, embodying the collective spirit of a generation that refused apartheid's grip. Fans often remember Wendy's China as a symbol of youth defiance. Even without a sprawling solo or leading line, she gave life and depth to the ensemble. It was this camaraderie, this sense of unity among the students that made Sarafina feel so authentic and electric, and China's role was part of that heartbeat. But beyond the film, Wendy's story is bittersweet. Born in 1973, she was incredibly young during filming, just stepping into her potential as an actress and a gospel, rhythm and blues artist. Sadly, her life was cut tragically short when she passed away in 2000 at just 27 years old. Today, Wendy Leco lives on in the hearts of those who cherish Sarafina. Her performance, though brief in cinema history, remains a testament to the young voices that fueled South Africa's fight for freedom. Next up at number 11, we have James Mtoba. He played Sarafina's uncle and gave life to a character that added important depth to the story's family and community dynamics. His role may not have been the flashiest, but it was vital. Through his interactions with Sarafina and her grandmother, viewers got a glimpse into how apathy didn't just impact students, but whole families, whole communities. He was the steady hand, the man navigating the painful realities of the older generation while witnessing the courage of the youth. One of the scenes fans often recall involves the moment of mourning when the community comes together to grieve losses inflicted by the apartheid regime's brutality. James' uncle was part of those powerful, quiet scenes that gave the film emotional weight beyond the energetic protest sequences. His presence reminded audiences that the fight for freedom was deeply personal and collective. James Mtoba was a force in South African theatre from the 1970s onward, before even Sarafina. He kicked off acting on stage and directed some himself. On screen, he appeared in City Lovers in 1982, Red Scorpion in 1988, and as one of the many unforgettable presences in Sarafina. After that, his acting career became reduced as he became more of a veteran, which he still is today. At number 10, we have Cifo Kuna, who played Gita, one of the student activists whose nickname says it all. He wasn't just part of the protest scenes, his character's identity was tied to music itself. Gita was the embodiment of how rhythm and song were weapons of resistance during apartheid, tools to keep spirits high and hearts strong. Watching those electrifying musical numbers in Sarafina, you could could feel how crucial music was to the movement, and Cifo Kuna brought authenticity to that role, being a real musician himself. After the film, he didn't just stay in the acting world, he carved out an impressive music career. Born in Cape Town, Cifo eventually moved to New York City, where he became a celebrated drummer. His work spans genres and generations, collaborating with legends like Abdullah Ibrahim, a titan of South African jazz, as well as the Harlem Gospel Choir and Jennifer Holliday. His transition from screen to stage and studio shows how the film was not just a milestone in his career but a stepping stone to a long life dedication to music. He also dedicates time to music education, leading workshops, mentoring young musicians, and sharing his knowledge. In a way, he continues the spirit of Sarafina by using music to inspire and uplift communities crossing borders and cultures. As of 2025, Cifo Kuna is active and thriving in New York's vibrant music scene, respected both as a performer and an educator. At number 9, we have Robert Whitehead. His role as interrogator was one of those unforgettable presences, the kind you love to hate. He was the embodiment of the apartheid regime's oppressive machinery. In a film packed with youthful rebellion and hope, his icy demeanor as the interrogator was a stark reminder of the harsh reality those students faced. The interrogation scenes where he questions and intimidates the young activists are etched into fans' mind for their raw intensity and nerve-wracking tension. That moment where Sarafina and her friends face the cold, unyielding force of apartheid embodied by Whitehead's character was pure cinematic electricity. Fans remember Whitehead for being that menacing figure who didn't just represent an individual but the entire system of brutality against the youth. His chilling clashes with Sarafina and the students gave those scenes a brutal authenticity that left a lasting impression. Robert kept busy after Sarafina and stayed true to his craft, mainly within South Africa's evolving entertainment scene. He's not just a film guy. Whitehead has deep roots in theatre, particularly at renowned spots like the Market Theatre, known for its politically charged productions. On screen, he became a familiar face in TV dramas like Isidingo, The Dark Tower, and Mr. Bones. He's often cast as complex, sometimes antagonistic characters, which suits his strong screen presence perfectly. Plus, Whitehead appeared in international projects which added a global dimension to his career. Fast forward to 2025 and Robert Whitehead is still ongoing strong. He continues to act in local dramas and on stage, carrying the legacy of that unforgettable Sarafina interrogator with him. His career may not always be in the international spotlight, but he's a respected stalwart in South African entertainment. At number 8, we have Tertio Menz. He played Lieutenant Blum, a high-ranking police officer who was essentially the face of apartheid's authority in the film. His character's presence was chilling and he brought a terrifying weight to every scene he was in. Lieutenant Blum was leading the charge. Menz's portrayal was so commanding that the tension practically jumped off the screen. The protest suppression scenes, especially the tragic classroom shooting, are seared into the memories of Sarafina fans. Menz was right there, embodying the coldness of the regime's brutal response to the students' courage and resilience. He was that figure of menace, yet so convincing that you couldn't help but feel the real horror of those times. After the film, Menz kept up a steady career in South African film, television, and theatre. He's known for nailing those complex antagonist roles, and his versatility saw him in local hits. His theatre work is equally impressive, often bilingually performed in both English and Afrikaans, engaging directly with South Africa's layered and painful history, much like Sarafina did. By 2025, Tertio Menz is still a respected figure in the local art scenes. Though his recent projects might not make headlines as often, but his performance as Lieutenant Blum remains a defining part of his career. At number 7 is Sizwe Mngomo. Credited back then as Sizwe Wako Molongo, he played Fire, the rebellious ferry student activist whose energy and charisma just lit the entire film. Fire was the pulse of the youthful defiance in Sarafina, and Sizwe's dancing and stage presence made him impossible to forget. One of the most iconic moments that fans fans absolutely love is the Freedom Is Coming Tomorrow musical number. Somizi's moves, charisma, and raw energy in that scene capture the hope and unity of the students like nothing else. You can feel the anticipation and revolutionary spirit pouring out through his every step and expression. That combination of music, dance, and activism defined his character and endeared him to fans worldwide. For Somizi, Sarafina was just the beginning. The experience took him on tours all the way to Broadway and around the world, exposing him to the global stage early in his career. Malongo has had his hands in just about everything. He popped up in many films and even made a TV appearance in Tarzan, The Epic Adventures back in 1996. But his real shine came as a judge, first on Dance Your Butt Off with Carbonina Kobeka, then landing the big gig on Idol South Africa for season 11. In 2016, he led the cameras into his world with a reality show Living the Dream with Somizi, and kept popping up on shows like City Sisla, Ayeye, and 10 over 10. He knows how to command the stage too. Somizi co-hosted the South African Music Awards 3 years in a row from 2016 to 2018 and was a roastee for Comedy Central Roast in 2018. He had choreography roots too. He kicked it all off with Sarafina and later helped choreograph the massive 2010 FIFA World Cup ceremonies. He's also left his mark on big stages like Miss South Africa, the Samars, and Joyous Celebration. In 2017, he dropped Grind with Somizi, a dance workout DVD, and followed it up with YouTube workouts under Kwaitone Dance Fitness. Movement is kind of his love language. He's also an outspoken advocate for LGBTQ+ rights, using his platform to promote acceptance and fight discrimination. Somizi's openness about his identity has inspired many across South Africa and beyond. Next up at number 6, we have Dumisani Blamini, who played Crocodile. He was another unforgettable spark in Sarafina's ensemble of student activists. His character was all about energy and charisma, and Dumisani brought that to life perfectly, especially through his dance moves and infectious spirits. If you recall the musical numbers, Crocodile's presence was electric. Interestingly, Dumisani wasn't just an actor cast out of thin air. He actually impressed Bongi Ngema at a party with his moves before landing the role. That raw talent translated brilliantly to screen and stage. His involvement in the school protest, including the tense classroom standoff, showed a character who was bold and fearless. Crocodile wasn't just a dancer, he was part of the backbone of the resistance. After Sarafina, Dumisani's career remained vibrant. He appeared in major South African TV productions like Yizo Yizo, Movhango, Isibaya, and Hostel. More recently, in 2023, he took on the role of Chief Civiko Kabaka in the Showmax series Nkonto, proving that his talent and presence continue to resonate. On a personal note, Dumisani's life has been in the spotlight beyond his acting. He's the father of American pop star Doja Cat, a fact that has drawn international attention and some controversy over the years. After the Sarafina tours, he lived in the US for a while and was married to Deborah Elizabeth Sawyer for 15 years. At number 5, we have Bongi Ngema. He wasn't just any actor in Sarafina, he was the powerhouse behind the whole project. He played Sabila, the corrupt, brutal police officer whose presence brought a real sense of danger and oppression to the film. But beyond acting, Ngema was the writer and composer, the creative brain weaving together the story, music, and soul of Sarafina. His character was the face of apartheid's cruelty on screen, a sharp contrast to the hope and fight embodied by the students. Bongi Ngema was born in 1955 in KwaZulu-Natal and was already a giant in South African theatre before the film. Sarafina began life as a stage musical in 1987 and took the world by storm, thanks largely to Ngema's visionary storytelling and electrifying music. After the film, he didn't slow down. He created other powerful productions like The Zulu and Sarafina 2, taking South African stories global with Tony and Grammy nods to show for it. Ngema was also a mentor to many, including Lettie Kumalo, who starred as Sarafina and was once his wife. Their relationship had its ups and downs, with Kumalo describing parts of it as tough but professionally. They both shaped South African theatre history. Tragically, Ngema passed away in late 2023 in a car accident, leaving behind a towering legacy. But even now, in 2025, his work continues to resonate deeply with anyone who cares about the power of art as resistance. Sarafina remains a timeless timeless piece, and Ngema's blend of activism and artistry stands as a cornerstone of South African cultural identity. At number 4, we have John Kani. He's one of those actors whose presence commands attention. Even in smaller roles, in Sarafina he plays the school principal, a man walking a tightrope torn between his duty to protect the students and the heavy pressures from the apartheid regime. His performance brought a nuanced human face to the struggle of a leader trying to do right in impossible circumstances. Born in 1943, John Kani is a true legend not just in South Africa but worldwide. After Sarafina, his career soared even higher. He made Hollywood waves as King T'Chaka in Black Panther and voiced Rafiki in the 2019 remake of The Lion King. He also popped up in Captain America, Civil War, and the comedy Murder Mystery. That means a whole new generation knows him, even if they don't realize it's the same man who played the school principal. Beyond film, Kani is a giant in theatre. He co-founded Johannesburg's Market Theatre, a critical space for anti-apartheid plays. His own plays like Sizwe Mngomo is Dead are staples of global theatre. The Market Theatre even named its biggest stage after him. His work has won a Tony Award, and his contributions to storytelling and social justice remain unmatched. At 82 in 2025, John Kani still acts, directs, and writes and inspires. His presence is a bridge between generations, from apartheid resistance to global cinema stars, reminding us all why stories matter. At number 3, we have Miriam Makiba, known affectionately as Mama Africa. She played Angelina, Sarafina's mother. Angelina was a domestic worker in a white household, a role that brought heavy emotional conflict. Her character's cautious acceptance of her subservient position under apartheid clashed with Sarafina's fiery activism, creating heartbreaking tension in the family dynamic. Makiba was already a global music superstar before the film. Born in 1932, she was exiled from South Africa for her outspoken anti-apartheid stance and went on to captivate the world with songs like Pata Pata. She used her fame to champion civil rights and African unity, becoming a voice for the voiceless. Sarafina was one of her rare acting gigs, but her presence gave the film incredible authenticity. She won a Grammy with Harry Belafonte and remained a beloved icon until her death in 2008 after a heart attack post-performance in Italy. Her legacy is as vibrant as ever. In 2025, her music still moves people, and her role in Sarafina remains a defining cultural moment. At number 2, we have Whoopi Goldberg. She was a force of nature, she was and still is. In Sarafina, she stepped into the shoes of Mary Masembuko, the teacher whose presence is like a steady flame amid the chaos of apartheid's harsh grip. Mary wasn't just a background figure, she was the heart and soul of the classroom, the guiding light encouraging those kids, especially Sarafina, to stand up, raise their voices, and demand justice. One scene that sticks with you is when Mary is passionately teaching the kids about their history and the importance of standing up for their rights. Goldberg's delivery in those classroom moments is so moving. It's not just acting. You can feel the real urgency and inspiration radiating from her. Then there's that gut-wrenching moment when Mary is arrested and the students watch helplessly from the sidelines. That scene crushes your heart every single time, reminding us of the real human cost behind the fight for freedom. Whoopi's involvement in Sarafina was more than just a gig. She was actually the first Black American actress to film in South Africa during apartheid's final days, which was huge. She helped bridge the story for international audiences, bringing a global spotlight to the struggle depicted on screen. Plus, she agreed to star in Sister Act Part 2 as part of a deal to get Disney to back Sarafina, which is a bit of Hollywood business savvy meeting passion for a cause. After Sarafina, Whoopi's career took off even more. She became a household name through a mix of film, television, and stage roles. Sister Act 2 was a favorite, and she lent her voice to The Lion King as Shenzi the hyena, which is iconic in its own right. Over the years, she's popped up in a variety of genres, from the intense to the family-friendly. But maybe what fans remember most today is her role as the witty no-nonsense co-host on The View, position she's held since 2007, shaping conversations and pushing boundaries with her honest takes. Off-screen, Whoopi has been a staunch advocate for social justice, clearly influenced by her role in Sarafina and her own life experiences. Her philanthropic work and activism continue to make waves, showing her the passion for change is as strong as ever. As of 2025, despite health issues, shows, Whoopi Goldberg is still rocking it at 69, balancing TV gigs, occasional film roles, and activism. Her Sarafina legacy remains a powerful chapter in her storied career, a reminder of how art can shine a light on injustice. At number 1, we have Lettie Kumalo. If you want to talk about Sarafina, Lettie Kumalo is the name. She played the title role Sarafina herself, a fierce, passionate schoolgirl who becomes the spark for her peers' rebellion against apartheid's brutality. It was her breakout role, and honestly, it's hard to think of anyone else capturing that fiery spirit of youth, hope, and resistance quite like she did. That unforgettable Freedom Is Coming Tomorrow musical number, with Lettie standing tall, fist raised high, belting out hope and defiance, pure cinematic magic, is the scene that defines not just the film, but a whole era of South African cinema. And then there's a quiet, deeply emotional moment speaking in Nelson Mandela's photo, where you see her frustration, her fear, and her unshakable hope all rolled in one. Sarafina's leadership during the school protests, especially the tense classroom confrontations, captured the courage of a generation refusing to be silenced. Lettie didn't just act, she embodied the spirit of resistance. After Sarafina launched her into the international stage, Lettie's career also blossomed. She reprised Sarafina on Broadway, earning a Tony nomination, which was a big deal, especially for a young South African actress at that time. She also toured globally, carrying that story and spirit far beyond the film. Later, she starred in important films like Hotel Rwanda and Yesterday, and her work in Cry, The Beloved Country, helped cement her status as a heavyweight actress with serious range. But Lettie's reach didn't stop at movies. She became a TV sensation in South Africa, with long-running roles on shows like Uzalo and Imbewu, The Seed, where she not only acted but also stepped behind the scenes as an executive producer. Her influence on South African television is massive. She's one of those actors who transitioned from a youthful star to mature matriarch with grace and power, becoming a household name for multiple generations. On the personal side, Lettie's journey wasn't without challenges. She married Sarafina creator Bongi Ngema, but that relationship ended in divorce. She later remarried and focused on balancing family life with her career, including taking a break to raise her twins. Through it all, she's remained a beacon for aspiring actors and a proud representative of South African culture. As of 2025, at 55, Lettie Kumalo is still very much in the spotlight, acting, producing, and mentoring. Her role in Sarafina remains the jewel in her crown, and she's been honored for it many times, including at the film's 2023 Cannes Classic selection.